Hello and welcome back to Football Match Daily presents Off the Pitch. Today we're here with Chinmay from Team SportsHype uh, for the fourth episode. And Chinmay here is a United fan. Uh, we had to especially get one to discuss their latest fixtures and the results. Obviously, talking about the Europa League final and what's going on right now, the protests and everything is what I mean. Before we get into all of that, I think I would like us to take a look at the La Liga table at the moment. We've got Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Sevilla obviously in the top four. Atletico Madrid leading the pack with 80 points. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Sevilla all with 2 points between them. And it's quite evident that everyone wants to bottle it this season. There's no one ready to take the La Liga. What are your thoughts on that, Chinmay?
Well, I was talking to a few Barcelona fans, and all they could say was that we helped Madrid last week. They hope that Madrid could probably help them with some favors coming up. I'm supporting Real Madrid in this fight. I really hope Zinedine Zidane gets his hand on the La Liga, but there are reports saying that he will be leaving irrespective of whatever happens this season. So something to look out for.
Zinedine Zidane staying or not doesn't really define Real Madrid's season, does it? It won't really matter. But then my money is still on Atletico Madrid. Sid, do you all have any thoughts about who might win it?
I believe that the table is going to stay the exact same way it is right now. And even if Zidane leaves, I don't think it will be before the end of this season. So the only change will be in the next season.
Sid?
Yeah, I think my money was on Sevilla before, but now I don't think that would be so much possible. Yeah, I think like I said, the table would remain the same till the end.
I remember beginning of the season you were a Real Sociedad fan because David Silva had made a surprise move there.
No, it was not so surprising, but yeah, like I had a soft corner for Sociedad in the beginning of the season, but now yeah, I don't think it makes a difference where they are.
Right. So moving on, we forgot to mention last week, but congratulations to Inter Milan for finally winning the Scudetto, ending Juventus's long reign at the top. And now Juventus look like they might not even make the Champions League. A very surprising turn of events, and I'm sure there's a lot of fans wondering whether Pirlo is the right person for the job and whether Cristiano should actually stay at the club. So, moving on, our major chunk of today's discussion is going to be about the Premier League, especially because how intense the title race right now is. Not title race, but the top four race. And we've had a long week, especially as a United fan, we've had a long week. And I would like Chinmay to give his thoughts about how this week has been starting from the Roma game.
Well, the Roma game, when we went into that game, I was happy to see a certain Donny van de Beek because if Donny van de Beek is playing, it means that it's probably an easy opponent or a dead match. But somehow, yet United managed to make a game out of that and still ended up losing at Dzeko, villain for United at City and villain for United at Roma. Uh, that game panned out pretty well. Then we had the game against Aston Villa, where of course again away day blues. We go down and United come back somehow in the second half. Probably think Fergie has some Zoom call at halftime because the way these people turn up in the second half, that's absolutely amazing. The game was on Sunday, and on Tuesday we had to play Leicester again. So that was quite shambolic to be honest, because you know a lot of Liverpool fans on Twitter and on social media were after Ole's head. They said that what kind of selection this is, but they probably stayed quiet after their sugar daddy Jurgen Klopp. He agreed with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and anyone who actually watches football knows that 2 games in 2 days isn't possible. So the kind of, and if you have a look at that game, the likes of Amad Diallo and Ilanga, come on, they were absolutely, they were not on a level where they could have stunned Leicester, but yet we managed to make a game out of it. Bruno Fernandes did come on, did try to change some stuff like he usually does, but wasn't possible. So we lost that game. And then comes the Northwest Derby. Well, Liverpool, what can I say, Vidit? I think you must be very happy today coming on.
Oh, I'm very happy. Very happy doesn't begin to define what I feel. I mean, especially I was quite tense after the Leicester result, thinking that our Champions League hopes are finished. But then a certain Mikel Arteta plays his masterclass against Chelsea for the second time this season, and I have hope again. And that hope only increases after we maybe equalize with Diogo Jota in right before halftime. And our second half performance, you would say, was the second half FC of Manchester United that usually turns up. This time, I would say, was the second half FC of Liverpool that turned up. And well, I'm glad we got that result because getting one over United at Old Trafford is a big deal, and it's great. It's a great feeling, especially because now we have top four hopes. Speaking of top four, I kind of prepared something for us. We've got a title race, on our hands, and as the details are on the screen, we've got only City and United qualified for the Champions League next season, and we've got six other teams in contention so far. So, Sid, would you like to shed some light about what's going to go on here?
I think like titles done obviously, but the top four race it's gonna be very interesting. Liverpool have managed to turn it around, especially on this week. Like Chelsea dropped points and they won against United as well. And yeah, I think United's plan to play easy against Leicester and then go all in against Liverpool that didn't work. So yeah, I think things have become much more interesting than they were last week.
This is how things stand for the four, maybe most probable to get to the top four. This is the current scenario. We've got Leicester and Chelsea playing each other next game week, and only have one other game in hand after that. While Liverpool and West Ham have considerably easy opponents with three games in hand. So, Ayush, you play Leicester twice in the coming week in the FA Cup final, obviously, and the Premier League game right now, going to the King Power Stadium. What are your thoughts?
So yeah, I'm excited but worried after the Arsenal defeat. Like I know we weren't that bad, and it was probably luck. But yeah, I would want to win both of those games. But I would place my priorities on the game against Leicester in the Premier League because it's very important that we stay in the Champions League next year as well, even if we can't win the FA Cup finals.
Chinmay, I had to ask you. Leicester and Chelsea play Spurs and Aston Villa, which are both quite tricky games if you look into it. Uh, who would you maybe put a safe bet on? Who would make it to the top four from Leicester and Chelsea?
Well, well, have a look. For the past two seasons, there has only been one playing day when Leicester haven't been in the top four. So that is one fact which I came over today. Yet
Yeah.
they did manage to bottle last season. They were cruising towards the top four, and they managed to bottle in the last two games. Brendan Rodgers, he's done a great job with Leicester, but to be honest, I rarely see if there is one team who might bottle, it has to be Leicester because Thomas Tuchel rarely has the Chelsea team up for the fight. And it's basically two cup finals between Chelsea and Leicester between 3 days. So pretty
That's
sure, and one is for a trophy. So Thomas Tuchel, if he does manage to win tomorrow in the FA Cup final, of course there will be some added motivation for the Chelsea supporters to see their team beat Leicester again and cement that top four. I probably say Leicester drop out.
You say Leicester drop out. Um, if you have to talk about Liverpool and West Ham, who out of these two are more probable to make top four if one of Leicester or Chelsea drop out?
You just want to hear Liverpool going into Champions
I,
League then.
I want to hear it, but then obviously, I
No, but
mean,
no, I mean, listen, I was going through the game yesterday. Of course, quite a big win historically and, quite significant for Liverpool. But if you have a look at Liverpool's win yesterday a little bit in detail, it was kind of all their wins this season because they offered United a lot of chances. That United didn't take them. That was a different story. But the likes of Fulham, the likes of Southampton, they have taken those chances and they have defeated Liverpool. If you have a look at Liverpool this season, they struggle against the bottom teams. And on paper, you see West Brom, Burnley, and Crystal Palace. We're looking at the three teams who, probably Jurgen Klopp is fearful of most, at least this season. So look, Liverpool is a champion side. They were champions last year. Um, uh, probably the easiest fixtures for, out of those four teams, Liverpool have them. You won't put it past them to get into the Champions League, but Liverpool being Liverpool this season, maybe they might not be able to capitalize on Leicester's drop if they do drop.
So which two teams are going to make it with, like you said, Chelsea is going to make it.
I
Is
said
it
I
going to be
said
Leicester
Chelsea.
or
Yeah,
Liverpool?
Chelsea will make it. Leicester play Ryan Mason's Tottenham. I do feel Leicester probably lose the Chelsea game, but I probably see Leicester dropping out, but Liverpool will drop points. I don't see Liverpool getting all nine. Leicester will scrape through in fourth place. That is what I feel. Scrape
Okay.
through because of Liverpool's fault, not because of Leicester's win.
I think Chelsea can come up till third, and we can see Liverpool coming back into the top four spot. For me,
Sid,
Yeah, I think I really want Leicester to be in the Champions League, but yeah, history is not on their side, and even the next couple of matches are not on their side. So I think Liverpool will take up Leicester's spot when they drop the points.
so all but Chinmay in favor of Liverpool on fourth. Not in favor of, but siding with Liverpool to come fourth.
yeah.
One thing I wanted to point out was that don't Chelsea have the more difficult of the second game? I mean, isn't Aston Villa more of a challenge than Spurs at this point? Is what I wanted to ask, especially since Spurs dropped points, lost I would say against Leeds,
Aston
a
Villa,
humiliating defeat that too.
yeah. Aston Villa can be a challenge, but see the problem which Leicester will be facing is they'll play Chelsea tomorrow in the FA Cup finals, and then they'll have to play Chelsea again, and then they have Tottenham, and I don't think they have that kind of a depth to play all three games and win the Premier League games, but both of the Premier League games. I believe they are going to lose at least one of them, and yeah, it looks like Chelsea can get past Aston Villa.
But in that context, don't Chelsea too lack that kind of squad depth? Because I think Giroud started against Arsenal, and even he missed quite a few chances.
Giroud,
And
to be clear, Giroud did not start against Arsenal. Okay,
but he missed a few chances, didn't he?
yeah, he did miss a few chances. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to defend Giroud. I was just stating a fact.
So Chelsea don't have the strongest of squad depths either, is what I'm trying to point out.
No, even in as you said, Giroud. Let's go in the striker position now. We can play Tammy Abraham in the FA Cup final if you want to. He's the top scorer there, and then we can have Giroud. We have Werner. Even Havertz has taken up the false nine striker role. So yeah, I think Chelsea do have the depth to go through.
And your two midfield rocks, I would say Mason Mount and Conte.
Yeah, Mason
Do
Mount, Kante, and Jorginho. Kovacic still looks injured, but these three are the people who can really do something in all these games.
and maybe I would say your key players of the tournament. I mean, of the campaign, I would say. Do all three of them start? I mean, all three of them start all three fixtures.
I think Mason Mount, Kante, and Jorginho. I think Jorginho will sit one out of them, and Mason Mount and Kante will start all three of them.
Those were those were good thoughts, I would say. Um, so Chinmay is saying City and United would obviously go through.
Pradeep,
Yes.
you also have a look at Chelsea. I was just hearing I used to talk about Chelsea, and you were talking about Aston Villa and Spurs. Yeah, if you have a
Right.
look at the table itself, Spurs will be a more difficult game for Leicester. And why I'm saying that is because they are still in fight for the Europa League, so they do have something to fight for. And if you have a look for all the people who did watch the Premier League game yesterday, the earlier kickoff, Jack Grealish did come back. He came on as a sub yesterday, so that was quite good for Aston Villa. But if you have a look at the terms of quality, if you have a look, if Harry Kane and Gareth Bale, if they get on song,
Yeah,
the kind of ability Spurs possesses, that they're not playing well is a different story altogether. But the kind of quality they possess, they will give Leicester a lot of challenges. Plus, Donny Evans is sitting out. He sat out the past two games. that is something huge for Leicester, missing a big rock in their defense.
And also that Kane will be more motivated to score some goals as Salah yesterday.
As Salah, exactly. So the
Yeah,
goal,
The
Kane
golden
and
boot
Spurs,
race.
Kane and Spurs have a lot to fight for in
yeah.
the last two fixtures.
You bring the point of Kane out. I would say, if I mean, regardless, Spurs make it to the Europa, maybe let's say Champions League. Let's say Spurs make it to the Champions League. Let's say, just assume.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's tough.
does Kane stay?
I don't know really, because Kane, it's always every season that Kane is in a club which is underperforming with a team like that. And firstly, if it Spurs reach in the Champions League, I think Kane will stay and maybe for another year. But if they don't, in fact, then also I think Kane will probably stay. I don't know why,
So,
it just feels that way.
Ayush, you say Kane stays at Spurs regardless of what happens to the season.
No, no,
Mm.
no, 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 not happening. Harry Kane is not going to stay at Spurs this season. Number one, Videep said, just imagine if Spurs get in the Champions League. No point whatsoever. That's like saying United is going to win the title this season. That's not happening because Spurs are out of the race totally. Look, Harry Kane, there are three teams who can logically sign Harry Kane at this point of time, both the clubs in Manchester and PSG. Do PSG really need Harry Kane? Well, Pochettino loves Kane. Kane loves Pochettino. But I don't see that transfer happening because they were able to get into the Champions League final with Choupo-Moting because they don't really invest in their centre forwards these much because they have the likes of Mbappe and Neymar and Draxler and Di Maria. So I don't think they're going to be going for Kane, irrespective of Pochettino. Both the Manchester clubs. One big update is to all of the fans who haven't heard this out. Glazers, of course, they always want to buy the fans off, right? So the Glazers have promised in fan forums that they will be giving two or three big signings. Now they don't really give a damn about football, to be honest. Tactically, do we need Harry Kane this season? We've just signed Harry Kane. We've just signed Edinson Cavani for another year. Does Man City need Harry Kane? I probably think they do, but they've already managed to get the Premier League without the like of Sergio Aguero and Gabriel Jesus. Kane will move this season. If he doesn't move this season, there is no trophies coming for him because I don't see anyone going for Kane next season. He's already 28 this year, and him and Haaland are going to be the big buys this summer, at least in terms of the striking options.
Yeah, actually,
Sid,
what I wanted
continue.
to say is that no other clubs would be interested in buying Harry Kane. Like, I don't see Harry Kane would want to go, but I don't think any club will want to make that bid right now.
Sid, I want to ask you. Chinmay just mentioned that Man City could be one of Kane's destinations. Would you want Kane after Aguero goes?
Yeah, I think every club could want Kane. A player of his caliber, like leading the line for you, it would be a good option for us. But the issue is are asking for a lot of money for Kane. Will City or even United be able to pay? Because I think they're not. I think I've heard 100 million, 150 million, somewhere around that. So that would be an issue. Like Chinmay said, Glazers have said two or three big signings. If they spend even 100 million on Kane, will they be able to afford the other big signings that they actually need, like a centre back and a defensive midfielder?
So obviously, I mean, even if you ask a neutral supporter, would you want a 28-year-old Harry Kane for 150 million or a 20-year-old Erling Haaland for 150 million? You'd go for Erling Haaland, won't you?
Yeah,
75 next year, 75 million release clause next year.
Obviously,
exactly.
that's going to be a battle to watch out for for Erling Haaland, and it looks like it's going to be a battle for Sancho this season. Who's going to get Sancho?
No, I don't see any battle. I don't see
Yeah,
any
even
battle.
I don't see any battle.
Videep,
Like
Videep, you're a Liverpool
there's
fan.
not been many
You're a
moves.
Liverpool fan, and there are a lot of rumors coming out that Liverpool do want to buy Sancho. Number one, you couldn't even pay the release clause of Konate, 35 million, because you don't have the money. You don't have the money right now. You probably have to sell Mane and Salah. Well, after what Mane did to Klopp yesterday, I wouldn't put it past Klopp to probably sell him. But Mane is a world-class player, and Salah is too. Salah scoring in and out. So I don't really see one of your attackers going. It's an open and shut case for Man United. Man United go to Dortmund, pay the money, and get him. Personal terms agreed already last year. quite a simple transaction. Hope they get it done before the Euros.
So I think that would that wraps it up for this week. We had Chinmay with us, a surprisingly unbiased United fan. I wouldn't say surprisingly. I got into trouble for saying that last time. Uh, he's been great. I would link Team Sports Hype below on our YouTube channel, in our YouTube description, and in our Instagram caption. And that's Chinmay from Team Sports Hype. Chinmay, any final thoughts?
Great show. I've had the opportunity to collaborate with Deep, of course, on Instagram and on YouTube too for the mid-season review. And great initiative you guys have put up, and hoping to collaborate with all of you again. We've got the Europa League and Champions League finals coming up. All of our teams are involved. Bar Liverpool, but okay. So let's hope we can collaborate once again, and let's hope that we have a great end to the season.
Yeah, but I think Videep is happy he's not involved in the Europa League final. Like, I would rather get knocked out of the Champions League
Yeah, you might get involved next season, so don't get so happy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And also, we were talking about top four, for a large part of this show. And one thing a lot of fans not noticing is that if Ayush does see Chelsea winning the Champions League, then the whole top four, it might just go topsy turvy, because then maybe if Chelsea do finish out of the top four, they still end up coming to the Champions League. So quite a big thing coming up. That final is quite a huge thing. Also with Tuchel's record over Pep this season. So Sid is probably hoping Pep doesn't overthink in the final. Pep probably just plays his best.
I think he won't, because otherwise we wouldn't have been in the final in the first place.
Yeah, but he did do some weird formation in the last meeting between.
I think it might be tactical. I mean, I don't know. I might be slandered for this, but I just don't know why I feel is that Pep might have just done all of that. Look, he already had the Premier League title in his hands, and the FA Cup final. Also, a lot of people are saying that Pep did this, Pep did that. But if you have a look, their B team can challenge for the Premier League, and that is the sad truth. They have a great squad there. So I don't really think Pep is been outclassed by Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel was better on the day than Pep, but you have a look at the team selections in the. You have a look. Pep really didn't have something to play for on 8th of May, if I'm not wrong. So probably see City and Chelsea playing out a very good game in the Champions League final.
Yeah, I think
I would say the same for United and Villarreal too. Sid, you were saying?
Last time I think Chelsea got lucky. If Aguero would have not Panenka that penalty, I think he would have buried the game in the first half only. And
I don't agree with you. I think Chelsea were far better the whole game. In fact, we could have scored a few more goals.
Yeah, we saw
Chelsea could have finished the game in the second half.
Yeah,
but again, that VAR call with Sterling. So
you talk about Chelsea, you know you're going to get missed opportunities, because it's like become a point that Chelsea play a game, they're going to miss a few chances, clear a few clinical chances, and I think that's what worries Tuchel the most, because he's going to go into the Champions League final with arguably the best defensive duo at the moment, and a defensive duo that could displace a person like Emerick Laporte, and that says something. So I would say that for me, City look quite the winners for the Champions League.
Also, one thing you mentioned Laporte, you mentioned him. One big thing I don't think you did cover it. He has changed his nationality, by the way. To all of the viewers, he's changed it to now. So we might just see him partnering Sergio Ramos in defense. That's quite a big thing. Well, of course, understandable. He wasn't getting game time for France, but quite big if he does get into the Euro squad.
Yeah, I'm really happy for him, because I wanted him to change nationalities back in 2018 when he didn't get called for the World Cup. And finally he did, because I don't think even like this season he's had injuries, hasn't been, like Videep said, he's been displaced by Diaz and Stones a bit. I don't think he'll be getting called up by France again. So I think it was a good move, especially France, with Spain. Spain needs someone to partner.
France have an insane backup. They're stacked at the centre back position at the moment.
See, at a point like this, if you're a player who the manager probably doesn't like, it's the worst moment for you. I mean, and sometimes it's not just even about liking. You have a look at Donny van de Beek. Yesterday, United had a chance when they scored that second goal. They had a chance to go on and at least score that third goal, right? And you saw Ole Gunnar Solskjaer taking off taking off Eric Bailly, if I'm not wrong. He brought in
Yeah,
Nemanja Matic
for
and he
Nemanja
put
Matic.
McTominay in the centre back role. And if you see that goal, all of you, who gave the ball away? Nemanja Matic. Nemanja Matic gave that ball away. So Donny
That
van de Beek could have played. You
no,
know
I
what
mean,
I'm saying? And it's a
yeah,
simple
yeah,
approach.
every
If
saying.
the manager
I mean,
probably doesn't see that you are the right player, then even if you might be the best at your old club or your current club, you might not play, and that is why Laporta's taken that decision.
I would, since you're talking about last game, I would say that that substitution looked unnecessary in the first place, and the fact that
Probably think
the
Bai was injured. Probably, I've reports coming out that Bai probably had a knock. And if he has a knock, well, God save United because no Maguire, no Bai. And, well, I don't know. If we lose to Fulham, then coming second by losing all of these games, never know. If we lose to Fulham and if Leicester surprise Chelsea, then we might just bottle second.
uh,
So you never know.
but I think you would just be glad to know that you've made it to the Champions League in such a competitive season, and it would just be a reassurance that you're there for next season and that you don't
Trust the
have to.
process, Vidit. Trust the process. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Trust the process. That's the tagline for all United fans. Next season, 95% of United fans with a stable mind who probably don't think Martial is a Ballon d'Or winner. Uh, they are looking as next season as the season where we actually challenge Man City and Liverpool if they do come back, and Chelsea with Thomas Tuchel. So next season, if we are backed properly by the Glazers, if we don't spend money on an unnecessary Cristiano Ronaldo move, which will just boost up PR for Glazers, and probably spend money where actually required, United can turn up in big situations. That's the only thing I hope.
Okay, as we finish out for the second time again, I just wanted to know your thoughts about Glazers. Your Glazers in or Glazers out? Our first
Glazers,
obvious.
the only people Glazers in are the opponents of Man United because they have been benefiting, and that is the sad truth. You saw all of these protests. I've fought with quite a few fans on social media, and I've talked to a lot of my friends too. And a lot of people are saying, "Why the protests? Why you doing this? Why are you endangering your team and your chances?" Well, FYI, if you don't know what's happening in our club, please don't speak about it. Number one. Number two, we've always been Glazers out. The people who say that this never happened when Sir Alex Ferguson was manager, it did happen. Look it up on Google. There have been chants, there have been scarves coming out in games when Alex Ferguson was the manager. Glazers out for sure. We need a better owner. You can see the protest. Of course, I listen on this platform. Thank you for asking me, Vidhi. On this platform, I want to say I do not support the way it's going on. I do not support the violence, but I support the cause, and everybody does. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is literally not saying, but saying that everybody has a right to protest, it means everybody knows the truth that the Glazers are cancer for the company, killing the company. And sorry, not even the company. I said the word company. Glazers have made it a company. Glazers have made it a company. Exactly. They're killing the club and they're trying to make it a company. So Glazers out for sure.
Strong thoughts worthy of their own, I would say, segment of its own. But that's how we're going to end it for this week. This was episode number 4, where we majorly talked about the team of the season, the PL awards. Obviously, touching upon the La Liga and the Serie A titles and races, while also talking about. Oh, I almost forgot. Congratulations to Man City for securing the title this season, and it's been a great season after a poor start for you.
Yeah, some
So
crazy celebrations out of it. Yeah,
There are a lot of fans going crazy. All the fans bus parade. I read this great. I wouldn't call it a meme. I would probably say truth. They said that 6,000 fans have been allotted for Man City and Chelsea for the Champions League finals. And I read one comment saying, "Oh, that's good. That's very unlucky for Chelsea because all Man City fans get to attend." So, well, it's okay.
Yeah, very
But
clear.
that means
I
that
didn't heard that one before. I hadn't heard that one before.
no, I mean I feel special because one of 6,000 is our own very own Siddhant. So I feel very unique knowing one of 6,000 from all
Yeah,
over
I
the
can
world.
confirm. I am number 500 and 1081.
Anyway, so the last bit of news for today is that the Champions League final has been shifted to Porto since Turkey and Istanbul came into England's red list due to coronavirus cases, and that's how we'll end it for this week. It's been a great episode. We've had a great guest, and we've got atrocious team of the season decisions. But that's
Yeah,
football.
what's wrong with you, Deep?
What's wrong with you, Ayush?
Stay safe, guys. Take care,
Yeah.
coronavirus, and take care, Ayush. Hope you have a better team of the season coming up if we ever have a chance.
Nope.
So that's it for this week.